Cool. Well, hello and welcome to episode 8 of Breathing Room. I'm your host, Rob Lavati, and really excited to be joined today by Spaceman Jones and the Motherships, or Motherhood. We'll talk today on the many different names, but Davaion, Bristol, and Cliff, Brian, Worsham, thanks for joining me today, guys. We're coming to you from the Asheville Play Studios in Asheville, North Carolina. Production being run tonight by Matt Dunn of AV Live. Thanks, Matt. Rock and roll. Matt's been doing such a great job helping us put this show on. This is our 8th episode. Episodes 1 through 4 are currently available on Spotify and iTunes, and you can check out 1 through 6 on YouTube. On iTunes and Spotify, that's just going to be Breathing Room, and on YouTube, you can find our channel by looking up Breathing Room as well. So today, Spaceman Jones and the Motherships, local Asheville hip-hop group. Spaceman's been around for a long time. I've seen you out a couple times in Asheville here, and really excited to get to talk to you today and get a little bit more of your perspective. And Brian, I've known you longer, actually. I met you back in 2005 at a show in New Jersey.
Yeah.
When you were playing with Secret Lives of the Freemasons.
Yep.
I met you out there at the Galaxy Cafe, and it was, we'll talk more about that later on, but super stoked for you guys to join me today. Thanks for coming out. I'll give you guys an opportunity to give a quick overview of yourself and maybe what you're working on right now. Feel free to promote anything that you have coming up, any shows, any projects that you're working on. But first, something we've been doing on each one of the shows here. I'm a pretty big proponent of meditation, and I've been trying to do it in my own life. So it's a little cheesy maybe, but we're going to take 10 seconds here real quick. You can close your eyes if you want. It's just going to take 10 seconds of silence, get settled in the studio, and just get ready to kick off here. All right?
Let's go.
Let's do it. All right. Rock and roll. That always feels good. I like that. I wish it were longer. We should do 10 minutes at the beginning and just really hunker down.
People wouldn't.
No, people would not hang around.
People need more stillness in their life.
They do.
Yeah.
Stillness don't sell, man.
No.
Do you guys meditate?
I meditate. I'm a daily meditator. I've been meditating since 2006 every day.
Wow. That's incredible. I've only been doing it for about 2.5 years, and I struggle to maintain the daily practice. But I find
get up earlier.
You do. You have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and meditate right then and there.
Yep.
Work out. Like force yourself to be in the routine and have the regiment. But Spaceman, why don't you give me a quick overview, man? Tell me a little bit about what you're working on right now, what projects you guys have coming up, any shows, and just anything else you want to share.
Spaceman Jones here, man. The lyrical part of Spaceman Jones and the Motherships, we are working on a new EP called Loops of Life. All loop-based instrumentals.
Cool.
Kind of in that Griselda, Rock Marciano, kind of less is more type of vein.
Would you go as far as to call it lo-fi?
No,
it's definitely hip hop.
Okay.
Yeah, it's straight up hip hop, but it's just like instead of having like a driving brake under it, there's no brake. So the drums, most of the drums that exist within it, which are few, is like just in the sample or it's very stripped down. Kind of like wanted to give him a platform to tell his stories over, So
sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely my voice is more of an instrument on this project me and Cliff are working on right now. So we're looking forward to having that to the folks as soon as it can come back from post.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think that it's a very, very strong release, maybe some of our best stuff yet.
This will be your 3rd EP, yeah?
No, this will be our 4th.
4th, okay.
No, this will be our 5th EP.
5th, wow. Yeah. You guys have been hard at work, man.
Yeah, this will be our 5th EP.
We're working on a full length right now, too. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
We got most of the songs in the can for that. We just kind of doing a little mopping up, making sure that we got all of the concepts that we want to hit in there. I also been doing a lot of work in professional wrestling. Me and my man Mook, Marcus Cunningham moved to BTSG. We are co-owners of Urban Combat Wrestling, a promotion that is steeped in hip-hop and professional wrestling, and we do our shows at the Mothlight. We coming up on our 4th show March the 7th. It's called Rapping Wrestling 3, The Hard Way. And we have a lot of fun. We're going to be bringing a lot more recognizable wrestlers, and we also have Grammy-nominated beat maker, producer out of Raleigh, Drugs Beats, who was all over Kendrick Lamar's last 2 projects.
Really cool.
And made a lot of beats with Dr. Dre here recently. This guy is kind of like one of North Carolina's brightest stars, and we're going to have him in the building with one of his MCs called Precise Politics. They dropped a EP earlier this year called Politics as Usual that was absolutely probably the best hip-hop release in North Carolina this past year.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And they put out a couple records too, so these guys are great. And so I've been really working on that really hard, the professional wrestling, building the promotion, and it's something I've always been into, but we still got to stay kind of solid with the music too.
Yeah. So with the wrestling promotion, you're doing promotions here in Asheville, and you're also planning on taking it on the road. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. We got a lot of places, a lot of cities around the Southeast and that are very interested in our product. Louisville, Kentucky, Washington, D.C., Charlotte, Atlanta, Greensboro. These are all places that have really, in Knoxville, Tennessee, of course.
Yeah.
These are places that have showed some real interest in getting a UCW showdown, especially the rap and wrestling event that we put on. It's a very exciting event. It's kind of cathartic for the people. We see a lot of excitement at our shows, and a lot of people like leaving with big smiles.
Nice.
That's
got to feel good.
Yeah, it feels great, and we make money, so it's
got to feel even better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, Cliff, why don't you give us the rundown, man?
Oh, geez. Well, same stuff he said with the Spaceman and the Mothership stuff. My band Robots Win, we have a new EP that we're going to drop this year. We're probably not going to drop it as like a whole project. It's going to come out as like singles and videos to those. We don't really have a name for it yet.
Okay.
So it was mixed and mastered by Black Pearl from Charlotte, who did a bunch of the new DaBaby stuff.
He did a lot of.
He just got some Grammys, some recognition and stuff
exciting.
like that. So, yeah, man, it's a great record too. It's like on, it's really dark, but I think probably our best work to date. I know that's like a thing that people say every time they like drop something, but just as a realized, project, I think for sure it kind of tackles, mental health and being on this weird rock flying through space.
Cool, man.
Yeah. So
I'm looking forward to that. And I really enjoyed your latest release with Motherhood, your solo project. I felt there was a lot of mental health in the conversation there as well on that release.
Yeah, I mean, my way of processing all that stuff is via music. I'm lucky to have music as an outlet, for that. So, a friend told me a long time ago that sometimes you have to say out loud stuff that you wouldn't say in private. So, kind of went with that project and ran, and just dug up a lot of stuff that I needed to get out of my mind.
Yeah,
and it helped me like tackle all that and move past it. So
some standout tracks for me on there were definitely Memories. Was that track 2?
It is track 2. Yeah,
that's definitely a banger of a track.
Thanks.
I listened to that one a couple times today.
Sick.
And then track 7 with Musashi Zero on it.
Right. Yeah.
Cool stuff. Really like him a lot. He's going to be on the show sometime in February.
Yeah, he's dope, man. We got a little EP that we put one out a couple years ago, and we have the follow up to that's going to come out this year.
Cool. I'm looking forward to that, man. He's got something so unique about him.
He's a great artist.
Very captivating. Like if you see him live,
for sure,
you don't expect that voice, that big voice, to come out of him, and it's really interesting to watch.
He can
live.
work a crowd too, man. He's like a good showman, I think that's like half, if not more, of all this is like being able to like put yourself on blast and being proud of like the product that you create. It really shines through with him. I think with Spaceman too, it really, we get up there and get our big bullshit on. So, yeah.
Cool, man. Well, thanks again for joining me today, guys. Really excited to hear about all the stuff you guys have coming up. I'll definitely be checking it out. At the end of the show, I'll be rattling off some links for everybody so you could check out Spaceman and the Motherships. You could check out Motherhood. Everything, all the links will be in the description of the YouTube video here.
Awesome.
So thanks for the overview, guys. I'm your host, Rob Lavati. Fun fact about me, I started balding when I was like 18, man. Like, bad.
You look good bald, though.
Yeah, it works, dude. It's like the only look I think I could pull off. So I'm
It's the
grateful
only
for
look
that.
you have.
Yeah, it is.
It's a good look.
My
You can
mom
wear a
tells me
wig.
I'm handsome.
You got the beard, though, bro, so that, like,
Yeah.
that helps a lot. You
It
know
does.
what I'm saying? Like, dudes who don't rock the full beard, you know what I mean? You pull it off. You look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't look too sick.
Yeah, people aren't worried about you or anything.
No, people are worried.
Are
but,
they?
like,
Well,
not about my appearance.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just a quick overview of what I think we're going to get into today. Who knows where the conversation may take us, but some of the questions that I have down here are related to hip-hop culture, both when you were growing up, what you listened to, things that got you to where you are now, as well as the current state of things. I want to talk a little bit about some of the darker side of hip-hop, some things that I think affect a lot of people, both who are performers, rappers, and people who are listeners as well. So I want to get into that a little bit, and also want to talk about some of the changes in Asheville. I don't want to get too deep into that. This isn't an Asheville podcast per se, right? But just the fact that you guys are both from here, you can speak a lot to how much this city has continued to change and evolve, and not in always positive or bright ways, right? With things like gentrification, and you have some classes of people getting forgotten along the way. So maybe we could pull on some of that a little bit too. But so to kick things off, who did you guys listen to growing up? Who were your hip hop influences when you were younger?
Man, I listened to a lot of Ghetto Boys. We listened to a lot of NWA,
Yeah.
Eazy-E, Ice Cube, DJ Quick. This was the late 80s, early 90s. So we listened to a ton of that, man. I can remember running home to watch Rap City, and Kid and Play was real big, and Salt and Pepper was real big. You had Kwame, and then you had like Boogie Down Productions. And everything that was kind of fed to us through that portal of Yo MTV Raps.
Yeah.
In Rap City. You know, that's where I got a lot of stuff from. And then we had, you know, I grew up right over here on Burton Street, and we had guys who was in the military who would come and bring stuff. Like I can remember when I first heard DJ Quick, a guy from the military had came and was playing it in his car, and it was that song Tonight.
Okay.
The old DJ Quick song. And I remember listening to him, and I asked, is that Eazy-E? He said, no, that's DJ Quick. It's two different, you know what I'm saying? It was two different guys, because they both had the L.A. type of voice and the L.A. beats. I really liked DJ Quick a whole lot. I didn't know until I was grown that he was like a beast in the studio as far as like multi-instrumentalist. Mad producing. He did most of the mixes on Doggy Style and The Chronic.
Oh, wow.
So digging into him and just kind of going back to that backstory, I really liked Southern hip hop and West Coast hip hop a lot. I wasn't too much into the New York stuff a whole lot until I got way grown.
Right.
But yeah, I was into that side of hip hop a lot.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, same for me. I had an older brother who was kind of feeding me like metal and hardcore, and then my sister Janice specifically, she was like really giving me a bunch of hip hop stuff. So like 2 Live Crew, NWA was like my early, 10, 11 years old, first, listening to hip hop. And then when I, got older, I was listening to like, Mobb Deep, Wu-Tang Clan, Busta Rhymes, man, Wu-Tang, all that 90s like stuff that we came up on. You go down these rabbit holes of like, you have Wu-Tang, and then they had all these like subgenres and subsects of Wu-Tang Clan. So like Law of the Dark Man, I was really into Law of the Dark Man for a long time. Yeah, man, anything from that era, really, like DMX, Naughty by Nature,
man.
Yeah. That was my groove.
Cool. Yeah, I had an interesting relationship with hip hop growing up because I grew up pretty heavy into metal and hardcore, like from the time I was pretty young, and actually really didn't jive with hip hop culture. I didn't listen to a lot of hip hop. I don't think I understood it. I don't think it was for me, really, you know? And it wasn't until I got the tape, the Eminem show.
Okay.
I put that on my Walkman and listened to that when I was 12 years old or whatever. That's when I think I became a fan and when I started listening. I don't know what it was that was so transcendent for me about Eminem, but I was able to digest it and pick it up and listen to it. I probably was too young to be listening to that shit, but
I think it was made exactly for you though.
Yeah, I think it was.
That's why you could pick up on it. He was locking into your wavelength.
right, and he got it. I mean,
It was kind of weird for me with him because I knew him from like the Wake Up Show, Sway and King Tech, DJ Revolution, and all that stuff, and they was putting out this sound bombing tapes and like all that stuff, and so when I heard him like start putting records out, I was like, nah, that stuff's all right, but like that stuff he did on the Wake Up Show, the freestyles and all that, that was kind of where it was at for me. But I think he was probably a lot of people's intro to, you know, that hip hop.
And maybe for some people, their only exposure to it.
Sure.
Like my mom, for example, she's like, oh, I love Eminem, I love Macklemore, but like she couldn't tell you anything else about hip hop. I think it feels safe for some people, which is interesting because Eminem lyrically is anything but safe. I mean, he's got some real violent and out there shit, you know. But that was definitely my first exposure, and then from there, got more into the popular side of hip hop, 50 Cent and some other people who were out at the time, and then slowly made my transition into like the underground hip hop world. Not until I was in my 20s, though.
Yeah, I think, you know, that probably happens for a lot of people. Their first wave is probably like Dipset or 50 Cent or Eminem. And then they can kind of go backwards from there and see, you know, what kind of sparked all that stuff. You know what
50?
I mean?
50?
50 Cent. 50 cents.
50 Cent.
I guess.
I don't know.
I guess we're here with a true hip hop and rap connoisseur. Like Dave is a dictionary of knowledge about hip hop and rap music. You know,
I feel like my friend would yell at me for saying 50. Like I definitely think it's 50.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I listened to a lot of Southern rock and metal growing up too. I was really into hair bands.
Really?
Yeah, I fucking loved hair bands. Like,
are we talking like Poison?
Cinderella,
and
Poison.
No shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
Guns N' Roses. I love those guys. I skated Hayward Road with shout out to Adam Lunsford. You know what I'm saying? The Pokey, rest in peace, Omar, man. We skated Robbie McGuire. We skated Hayward Road, Raise Hell.
Nice.
And listened to Anthrax and Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was really into that for a while. Like between the 6th grade and 9th grade, I listened to a lot of metal and rock. And my parents thought I was going crazy because I was skateboarding and listening to metal.
Were they worried about you?
Yeah, they were really worried.
Yeah.
What the hell you listening to this white boy? What in the world? What is you doing?
Leave me alone. You guys don't understand me.
Yeah.
They got him.
Yeah.
Who are some of your favorite artists right now? Who are some people that you guys are listening to, whether hip hop or otherwise?
Man, we love Griselda.
Yeah,
shout
so
out.
West Side Gun, Conway.
Benny the Butcher. Love him.
Yeah.
I love Sauce Walker. I can listen to him all day. A lot of people hate me for this next thing that I'm going to say, but Future is a genius.
I don't disagree, man. I do not disagree.
Wow. That's all I can say. You know, I like a lot of that stuff, but I do like the grimier stuff. You know, like I said, Griselda. I listen
Planet Asia.
Yeah, Planet Asia, like him a lot.
He's put out a bunch of really great cuts in the last couple years.
I'm all over the place with hip hop. You know, I don't like some of the dumber new stuff. Like a lot of that singing stuff is not my cup of tea. But I did hear a record that I liked. Roddy Ricch was a great album.
Yeah.
And he's singing all over it, but it was really good. You know, it is what it is. You know, it's gonna change and keep on changing, and I don't mind. Let the kids do what they're gonna do. You know, I'm over 40 now, so I'm not supposed to understand the stuff that the 19 and 20-year-old, and that's cool with me. I'm okay with that. You know, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, if something catches my ear then yeah, it's dope. If it's dope, it's dope, you know. But
The thing I like about Future, he'll go in the studio with 10 or 12 tracks that he has or hasn't heard before, and he'll just spit right there. He'll come up with a flow, and he'll just drop something right there, more or less freestyle. The new Denzel Curry tape,
That kid's nice.
he was mostly freestyled on that whole tape. He had the hooks for each of the songs and then freestyled all the verses.
That's the way that dude Benny is. Benny the Butcher, he don't go into the studio with anything. No phone, no paper, no writtens.
Yep.
He just comes up with it all right there in the studio. And his
Tierra
stuff is
Whack,
fire.
you guys heard her? She's great. She sings melodies, no lyrics though. It's just a flow. There are no lyrics or words to what she's
sounds
singing.
like a Nagoon.
She's doing like the worst version of mumble rap, but she does it so well that I can't help but like it.
It sounds like Jewish singing. You know, they have these songs called Nagoons, and
Okay.
it's just melodies, like people like moaning and humming, emoting,
Yeah.
but no words.
Okay.
Kind of like Sigur Rós or something
Yeah,
like that.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what it's like.
They like came up with their own language and shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all her songs are like fucking 2 minutes long, and they end almost in the middle of the song, and you want more of it. It's good stuff.
That's that new wave right there. That my whole like solo tape was nothing was over 3 minutes.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I could digest it really quickly, pick up which tracks I really liked.
Right.
I don't want a 6 or 7 minute song anymore.
Sure.
I don't think most people do.
Yeah, even ours are getting shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You guys mess around with any Dreamville stuff at all?
Oh yeah.
J. Cole and JID and
Yeah, I
Earth
like-
Gang.
Lute is the homie.
Yeah, Lute. I've known Lute for
yeah.
quite a while.
Really?
Yeah. He
Cool.
used to be in a group called Forever FC out of Charlotte.
Nice.
And this dude, Skylar Chase, was part of that group, and we did some work together. And Jimmy Kelso was also a part of that group. So it's cool to see Lute get to where he's at and flourish with all that. But yeah, that whole Dreamville, they're making great songs, great music.
Great music videos, too. They're putting out some good
Yeah.
content all around.
Oh yeah, man. When you got a great budget like that,
Yeah,
you can
right.
do it.
Yeah, and you have J. Cole at the helm, just
Right.
like taking the ship wherever, man.
Yeah, man, and they're mailing him money,
Yep.
like they're sending it in on the train.
Yep.
Take my money.
Yeah. Everyone wants to fund that project.
Yeah.
The documentary they made about their Dreamville 3,
The Revenge
Revenge
or
of the
whatever.
Dreamers
Yeah,
tape.
that's just great.
Great documentary. It was fun to watch.
It's a good
Felt-
record too. I mean, it's got a bunch of really great tracks on
There's
it.
good stuff on there. I like how hungry it seems like it was in that house. Like each of the guys had to compete to get on a track. So
Right.
everyone's in there writing and they're trying to come up with their best verses, you know. Pretty
Yeah,
interesting
no, it's
stuff.
great. It's cool to see people who like get in the studio with that many people and drive each other and don't just go on a bender and like forget what they're doing.
Right. How did they stay motivated? I don't know. I doubt it. They were smoking a lot of weed. That's not a drug.
No.
That's not a drug.
They were like in there sipping lean or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Falling asleep and shit.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why, yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think of the current state of hip hop and popular music? Spaceman, I know you said you don't mess with a lot of the singing stuff, the stuff you're going to find on the radio, and I'm right there with you.
I mean, but my daughter, I have an 8-year-old, she loves it. So we put it on the pop stations and I find myself singing along with it. It's just music.
yeah.
I think that music is stronger than ever because we have a decentralized music industry. You see what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
not like these big corporations that have to sell these warehouses full of CDs and tapes.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Everything is kind of delocalized and it's kind of on the internet, and you can pretty much a la carte pick what you want to hear. I think that that in the freedom and being able to put out music when you want to,
Right.
whenever you want to, you can communicate with the world. I think that we're seeing the beginnings of a new way of, we're seeing the working out the new ways of communication throughout the world with the internet and with things being so instantaneous and how fast people are assimilating information. Long albums are kind of dead. Nobody wants to sit through 15 or 14 songs anymore.
Right.
Things are changing very quickly, and I like the change. You know, I think that everybody's going to be nostalgic for the time that they grew up in.
Right.
You know,
Like I'm going to want CDs. My parents are going to want
exactly
vinyl records, whatever.
all of the songs are 85 BPM. You know what I'm saying? You have a strong masculine voice rapping about hard shit over hard beats.
Right.
things change. People feel differently. I think hip hop got kind of packed into a monolithic thing that was supposed to represent one thing, like the hard black guy from the ghetto. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's a culture that's worldwide. It's the voice of every young poor person on the planet right now. Is hip hop music.
Right. That's a great point.
You know, so it has to be different. It's got to be multifaceted. It's got to fit the user. This was made by guys who were still in power and using Radio Shack equipment in the wrong fucking way.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is a pirate's music. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're taking what we have that's available to us and we're creating something on our own. This is a music that's definitely representing the underbelly, the downtrodden. This is a music of taking what you got and making something dope and funky out of it.
Yeah.
And it's really indicative of what I don't understand about hip hop right now is that there's so much money into it that we have lost our connection with what it came out of. You see what I'm saying? This is music that was made by poor people.
Right.
To make poor people have a good time.
In the struggle.
Yeah, and most of the lyrics that I hear now are like, you broke, I'm going to take your girl.
Right. I got money.
Yeah, I got money, you probably don't, so you ain't shit.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So we done really lost the season and the flavoring of what made hip-hop great, which was poor people trying to find something to do under some of the worst oppression in the nation's history. Just think about the Bronx in the 70s. It looked like Beirut.
Right.
It was one of the poorest places in the world. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And look what came out of it in 1975. 1576 Sedgwick Avenue. He threw a party in it. You know, I'm here because of it. I wouldn't have had a chance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people wouldn't have had a chance to even be able to know how to express themselves without this art form, and it's grown to this level. I'm just hoping that we can kind of get back to what it came from without it being corny.
I understand. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense to me.
I think that it's starting to turn that corner, though. You know what I mean? With all these acts that are coming out of, not even just New York, but California. I mean, Atlanta. Yeah, there's a bunch of lyrical MCs. I think like you're watching like the rebirth of like the lyrical MC.
Yeah.
People who have something to say. And
well, what I was saying was not even the lyrics. It's just the feeling of community and coming together and everybody having a good time.
True.
I think that the competition part of it has kind of taken over the party part when
Right.
they used to be kind of neck and neck. And I wanted to be a little bit safer.
Right.
You know, I want hip hop to be safer. I want hip hop to be a place where you don't have to be the most tough together, super masculine, never make a mistake, perfect person. You know, you got a lot of hip hop guys that want to be the street Jesus.
Right.
They don't have no flaws, ain't nothing. They ain't never made a mistake. All of this.
You're the king. You have the crown.
All of this bullshit that they selling us, which is not even most of it's not even true. They getting their money from corporations and they went to college. Just be honest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like 2 Chainz.
Well, yeah, pretty much. 2 Chainz is dope though. Don't get me wrong.
No,
don't get me wrong.
That.
And I don't know what he did in the streets or anything like that, but
I know he's well educated and he's a smart dude.
yeah.
And he knows how to make music that people are going to listen to.
He knows how to make money.
Yeah, for sure does. He's a businessman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to your point, Spaceman, like something that really gets under my skin is when people devalue hip hop as an art. People like my dad's generation, who is just like, it's just people talking over a beat. There's no lyrical or melodic value to it. No, this is not music. Do you see that starting to dissipate a bit? I mean, hip hop is one of the most popular genres of music
Hip hop is
in the world.
It's the number one popular genre in the world.
Yeah.
It overtook rock and roll. Those people are dying.
Yeah.
Let's just get it straight and plain. Those people that feel that way overwhelmingly are dying. Every song that you hear on the radio is a hip hop track.
Yeah.
Just 95%, even the country radio.
Oh yeah, that's what I was about to say. Country music now might as well be hip hop music.
Yeah. I mean, it's got the 808.
It's got the trap hats.
It's got the trap hats.
Lil Nas X for that, but
I don't even know.
It was before that. It was before that. You get groups of producers that move around. The sound moves around to different cities. Mm-hmm. Atlanta got the sound now, and Nashville is producing that sound. You see what I'm saying? So you got country radio, you got pop radio. Everybody sounds like hip hop. Even the Korean kids, it sounds like hip hop.
Right.
Which is, it's all well and good, but what are we doing that's carrying the message of hip hop? We had principles in hip hop at one point in time. Didn't KRS-One teach a whole course about what hip hop was meant? And everybody was like, yes, this is what it is. But now it's like, KRS-One, fuck that guy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's the sentiment. I don't understand where the mix up and the change and who's responsible. Maybe I was asleep. I think I was
asleep.
Missed the memo? I missed the memo. What happened? When did it stop being about uplifting and started being about these other things? But I think that it was a difference. Like back in the day when you had NWA and Easy, Ghetto Boys, you can listen to their music. They was talking about gangster shit, but it didn't seem so sensationalized. It seemed like maybe people just kind of telling what it was.
Right.
And they also had a lot of thinking men's records. You see what I'm saying? Records that will make you think about things that's going on in the world. It wasn't just all, I'm going to kill you. And, it was a little bit of redeeming quality to the music. And they would tell you all the way through the record what it was about. This is especially NWA. Look at the power of street knowledge.
Right. He's
telling you through the whole record what this is about. We don't get that. It's no redeeming qualities almost in the music anymore. These guys are not. A lot of them, well, most of them that I don't really listen to when I listen to the song, and there's no redeeming qualities. Then I don't, what use do I got for it? I don't care if the beat nice. I don't want to keep on putting garbage inside of my head. But the ones who actually talking about something, one of the guys who I really praise for that is Sauce Walker, if y'all ever listen to Sauce. Man, Sauce always dropping the jewel. Always. And that's what I think hip-hop is for, because it's the only communication that we have amongst each other, especially being poor minorities. Specifically black people. There's no other way that we have of spreading the message of what we are going through that's more effective than rap music. It used to be the church, but the church being compromised a long time ago.
Right.
It's not putting out the positive messages, the self-empowerment messages. It's putting out the message of listen to this guy and give him your money. He gonna show you how to live after you die.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? Bogus. But hip-hop is able to communicate, in an effective way. You see how effective it is. A hit song everybody's listening to it, doing it, changing the people, change how you dress, everything. So we can start injecting into it. And I think that's what Spaceman Jones and the Motherships do. We really try to inject something of value other than just some ass shaking and some titillation for a minute.
Yeah. And I think you do a great job of that. I'm always impressed lyrically by the stuff you put together, Spaceman, and the stuff, Cliff, that you put together instrumentally is always impressive as well. And I like that you're up there and you're mixing it all live. You're running through, you're dropping the samples. It just feels a lot more authentic and connected of a performance. So I really appreciate the stuff that you guys put out there, and I think it's very different than what you're going to hear out there in the mainstream, which is definitely a compliment.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
One of the things that has been glorified really in hip-hop culture, as far as I'm concerned, are things like, in some ways, drug use and violence, even in some ways. And you have the loss of a lot of great people. You have Mac Miller, Lil Peep, Juice WRLD, XXXTentacion was murdered last year. So you have the loss of some pretty talented people with promise and potential in a world that is talking about using drugs and hurting people.
Well, I think a lot of those kids are starting to realize that shit now. You know what I mean? Like if you look at, I think most recently with Juice WRLD dying, I think that kind of shook a lot of those people in that world. You know what I mean? That, hey, maybe it's time to stop doing some of this shit. Maybe it's time to start being a little more real. You know what I mean? Because you can only live so long without consequence, especially when you're living that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Consumption like that there's one way out, two ways out maybe, but you know what I mean? Usually it's death.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see it that way, but I also see what's happening with hip hop artists kind of dying. It's the same thing that's happening to people on the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like Nipsey Hussle. You had mentioned XXXTentacion. Especially in the murders, it's happening every day.
Yeah.
To people who are not famous, you know, in situations like that. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at each individual situation. Juice WRLD as well was a tragic thing, but I don't think that if he wouldn't have got told on by the pilot, I don't think he would have took all them pills.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it's a thin line, and I also think that just the drug culture in the United States is as American as apple pie.
I'm sitting here drinking a coffee.
Yeah. We wake up in the morning, we drink coffee. You know what I'm saying? Cigarettes are still like a major, it's like very acceptable still.
Yeah.
Alcohol and Prince Valium was the most prescribed drug for 17, 18 years in a row was Valium. The most prescribed drug in the whole America. Drugs are American way, man. And you know, when people who got money and access to them, they're going to die at a higher rate than regular people that don't have money and access to them.
Yeah.
I think that it's indicative of the sick nature of like what we living in this country, man. The capitalist, it's all made to make you feel like you ain't enough unless you go out and buy something from somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we dealing with that blow to our self-esteem every single day. You know what I'm saying? Every time we look at an ad, it's pulling something inside of us subconsciously. They done studied this shit for years, and they are great at it.
Yeah.
And they know how to make you buy. And we're living under constant mental assault all the time from this stuff. And so people sensitive people are gonna do something to deaden that. And usually it's illicit drugs.
Right.
You know? Some people use sex. Some people use relationships and whatever that is to feel like they're in control. You know, because we're being pulled every second of every day to buy something or to like this or to dislike that or to, you know, so it's hard to know your own mind.
Yeah.
A lot of these kids are dying out of finally getting something in their life. But a lot of these kids are poor. A lot of these kids didn't have nothing before they got any fame. You know, so they jump into the machine and it's off to the races because ain't nobody telling them no.
Right. Nobody helping them out, trying to steer them the right way.
No, nobody's helping them out. They're actually preying on their mental health problems to make sure they stay in the bag and in the pocket so they can make it to the next show. I can control them then.
Right. That's some heavy stuff, man.
That's a heavy, you brought up a heavy subject.
I did. That's what I'm looking to do, get to the root of it.
Yeah, man, I think that we're just living in a sick country and we've been living in a way that's not natural to human beings. And you're gonna want some relief from that. Man, we are under assault 24/7 by somebody trying to take our attention and, you know, squeeze a little money out of us.
Yeah, and we're all addicted to something. I mean, if there's anybody out there who thinks they're not an addict in some way, I would challenge that. You can become addicted to just about anything. Facebook, using your phone, getting likes on Instagram, and the dopamine that gives you when you get that little notification or whatever. We're all dealing with something like that, and unfortunately for some people, it's with stuff that you don't always bounce back from.
Yeah. And I think and this is me getting maybe a little bit too far out there. I think it's too many people on the planet, and the earth is real wise.
I'm right there with you, man.
So, you know, probably, you know, if you're not taking care and responsible for yourself, if you don't love your life, then guess what? You might lose it.
Yeah. It's the unfortunate truth. Yeah, it's the reality for some people. But I'm right there with you that there are too many people in this world.
Yeah, and it's too many people on the earth, right? So the biological imperative to reproduce is kind of lessening.
Right.
And the biological imperative to off yourself is growing because there's too many people here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So suicide's going up, accidents going up, drug overdoses, crazy murders, like wild stuff. You see what I'm saying? It's just too many people on the earth, I think. And that's just I don't have any proof for that, but that's what I think is happening. Mother Earth is kind of, you ever seen a dog get up and scratch some fleas off
Shake
of
them
them?
fleas
Shake
off.
them fleas off. Yeah, that's what's happening right now.
I agree. I would agree. It will exist.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mother Earth ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. I know some people who grew up in a really strict Southern Baptist household, and I know that was absolutely their experience. Yeah,
Same.
that was absolutely their experience, and it drove them away from religion and spirituality, just being in such a strict, intense.
Well, and then just think like you're 6 and 7 years old and you're worrying about spending an eternity in hell. I was like in the first grade, terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's scary stuff.
Yeah, and they beat that shit into you.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I'm saying? My grandmother ruled by the switch, bro.
Yeah,
like
mine did, man.
you didn't. She'll put the fear of God in you. You feel
Yeah.
me? Like, so yeah, coming up in the Southern Baptist house was
It was pretty
terrifying.
rough. It was pretty rough, and not only that, man, but you get it's a lot of different layers to that. Sexual repression and not being able to speak out and speak your mind against authority, just
Right.
a lot of things that don't allow you to be 100% full human, which is a fantastic and sometimes terrible thing. A full human. A lot of people can't handle that.
Right. So, switching gears a little bit, Cliff, I'd love to talk to you a little bit about your time in Secret Lives of the Freemasons.
Sure.
I've been a fan for like 15 years at this point, if not longer. Saw you a couple times up in New Jersey back in like 05, 06, somewhere around there. I was in a band at the time up there called Love You Made the Butcher, local New Jersey band. Shout out to you guys if you're watching or listening. Told them that I was going to be on with you today, and they were pretty excited.
Nice.
So there are a couple songs that come to mind when I think of you guys, especially the first time that I saw you there at the Galaxy Cafe. Two songs that stand out are It Only Took a Whisper and This Was Built to Make You Dance, or the Dance Dance Revolution. I definitely moshed when I was like 14 years old to Dance Dance Revolution. But like, for It Only Took a Whisper, can you give me any insight into, well, number one, did you write the song? Did you write the lyrics to that song?
Myself and one other person in the band did.
Okay.
Yeah. I was a kid.
Yeah.
When that stuff was happening. And I was also like heavily under the influence of drugs and alcohol. So when people ask me questions about that time in my life, man, it's like people would expect it to be like my proudest moment. You know what I'm saying? Because it was successful and we traveled for quite a while doing it, but it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't my proudest moment. And simply because I was out of control. You know what I mean? I had no one to keep wraps on me. We certainly weren't doing it for each other on the road or in our personal lives. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, it to me, honestly, it's like a time that existed in my life.
Yeah.
Almost like a dream.
Yeah. Feels like a lifetime ago.
It does. Yeah. I mean, I've probably lived 3 lives since then, right?
Yeah.
But it means something to people, I guess. And that's why it's still important to me, because people connected with it and they liked it. I may not be super proud of who I was or maybe the lyrical content at that time. I was, that first record came out at the tail end of a terrible breakup for me.
Right.
So I had a lot of issues with relationships, and I had a lot of issues with, the opposite sex at the time for some reason. When probably a lot of that was like me being toxic, maybe, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So yeah, it's, it was cool, I guess. Like I said, I was a blur. It was all a blur. Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, thanks for putting that into perspective for me.
Yeah.
And
I mean, a lot of people didn't, they don't really know how deep stuff like that goes with people who produce music that they connected with, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So it's cool for me to have a platform now to talk about some of that stuff, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was cool. It was a lot of heartache. It was a lot of like, abusing my mental state, abusing my body.
Yeah.
Being wildly out of control when it comes to, my substance abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think it's a world where it's easy for that to get out of control.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, they pump it down your throat, you know. Promoters want to fill you full alcohol so they can fuck you at the end of the night. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there were shows where I was like falling off the stage. I was so fucked up. You know what I mean? So, but and then there's the other side of it, the music industry side of it, which is also very terrible. And it wasn't the most fun I've ever had, dealing with suits and lawyers and people who want to take advantage of you and squeeze you. They want you to suffer so you can keep creating while they're like flourishing and paying their rent, their mortgage, their car note,
Yep.
We would sometimes come home and I really would be kind of worried about where I was going to be because I had no money. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think it's easy for people to like glamorize that lifestyle, but when you're in that lifestyle,
it sucks.
It sucks. Yeah, it was really hard for me. But I'm glad to be here for sure. I'm glad and that's really what ended that band was me becoming sober. And I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't be on the road. And the second record that we wrote, which was my favorite record, Weekend Warriors, that first record was hard for me, man, because it tackled a lot of just bad parts of my life. You know what I mean? So when you sing those songs every night, you're like, oh my God, I just want to get over this shit. And I can't because I've like put it here on the table. It's like we were talking earlier that in some situations that can be great. In some situations, putting your mental problems on the table and dealing with them is fine. But, when you're doing it for me anyway, when I listen to that first record, I hate it. I really hate that. I sound like a prick. Yeah. I think so anyway.
That's interesting.
So, on the second record, that we kind of strayed away from that because I wasn't in that situation anymore. I had grown up a little bit. I was able to we just wanted to focus on making good music. Yep. You know what I mean?
It's really that first record that resonates with me, though.
It does for a lot of people.
Of the two. And when I saw you first in 2005, you guys had 3 guitar players in the band, right? And I liked it so much that we went back and we added a third guitar player to our band. We're like, man, that's badass. We got to do it.
I think we had one because we didn't really know how to not have our friend in the band. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it just kind of was, we were a unit. So that's what it became. Instead of like only having 2 guitar players, when, that band formed from the downfall of 2 other bands.
Okay.
So we chose the members that we wanted to be in that new band, Secret Lives. And then, kind of ran with it. So it was like one of those things where like, we love him, so he has to be in the band. You know what I mean? So that's how we made it all work out. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting time in my life. I'm appreciative of it because it allowed me to be who I am. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's a lot of that time in my life was kind of painful.
Sure, I could totally understand that. Well, thanks for sharing it with me here today, man. It's good to be able to kind of put the pieces together on what that was like for you, because I think a lot of people, myself included, look back on that with a lot of envy for what you were able to do in a short period of time.
Sure.
So I think it's being able to separate who maybe you were as a person at the time and what you were able to accomplish, which I think are 2 different things.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And we had a lot of success to playing the Warped Tour was a lot of fun.
Yep.
Like, meeting a lot of your like peers that you never thought you would and like becoming friends with those people, you know what I mean, is like pretty cool. Yeah. So and I do still have a lot of relationships from that time in my life that I really am super proud of and happy for. I still am connected with a lot of people that we, interacted with on the road.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a good thing is I have all of these nice relationships still. I'm almost 40 years old. I'll be 40 this year. when, we wrote that first record, I was like 22, 23
Yeah.
years old. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, I was still learning a lot about myself and life,
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Cool. Good stuff. So you guys are both from the Asheville area. You grew up here, spent most of your lives here, I'm guessing. What has it been like to see it continue to change and evolve and grow, and in a lot of good ways, but maybe not always, right?
Not always, but I'm not the average Ashevillean that hates the tourists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the tourism industry. You know what I'm saying? Like, my day job is still doing food tours, and I'm gonna tell you, man, growing up in West Asheville, there was no opportunities for me as a young man.
Mm-hmm.
It was either sell some dope or leave, go to the military, or something of that nature. Now, man, you can mess around and make up something right here on Hayward Road and make money, make a living. It's a lot more opportunity for me. I choose not to look at, the traffic's bad and everything's cost more. I look at it kind of like it's a lot more opportunities,
Right.
than it was when I was a kid, and I'm so happy to see that, even though a lot of times black folks are kind of excluded, even though, we have to work 3 times as hard to get,
I wouldn't say kind of excluded, but
yeah, all the way excluded.
Yeah.
Let's put it like that.
yeah.
And this is crazy. I'm seen as one of the black men in Asheville that has a lot of access to infrastructure, to being able to get, rent buildings and whatnot, and I'm seen as one of the people with the most access out of, my community, and I still don't have any access at all.
Right.
But we able to make a way, you know what I'm saying? Because there's so much money up here and there's so many things that's popping off. Like, it's so much opportunity. You can get in where you fit in if you're not looking to be like, oh, they're gentrifying me out of my place. If you don't have that attitude, and you got the attitude of, oh, well, Johnny and them just bought a couple houses over here and they renting them out. Why? What's the difference between me going and doing? But it's just a lot. You got to put in a lot more leg work, and you have to be a lot more perfect if you're a black guy. Let's just put it like that. It's not impossible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It just takes a level of discipline and a level of having your shit together that a lot of folks just don't have the time to do. You know what I'm saying? But I do see the bad parts. Shit costs too much, man. I paid $1,700 for my mortgage. That's a stiff load, you know what I'm saying?
Up there, man.
And that's every month, but we just was renting a place that was $1,500. So I said, well, shoot, I might as well pay a couple more $100 and own the place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like that when I was growing up. Rents in West Asheville were like $300, $400, $500 or $600 for something super nice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's not that way anymore. I see I see every bad thing. There's just too much traffic. You got people who, especially downtown, you got to deal with a lot of people who have no respect for
You at all? 81?
for anybody, except for them having their vacation and having a,
I think a lot
time.
of those people too are like, upper middle class white people, and they spend a lot of time in corporate situations, corporate restaurants, corporate, you know what I mean? They shop at a lot of corporate places, so they don't really know what it's like to go to a place that's maybe not as corporate, though Asheville's becoming more corporate. You know what I mean? They're not used to being at a place that's not as corporate as they're used to, so they expect, what they want it now. Give it to them or fuck you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm downtown 4 days a week, man. It's kind of hard sometimes.
I had to get out of downtown, brother.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard to be down there. I agree.
It is really hard. Yeah, because and then you have like
years.
an alcohol-based tourism. So these people, they're drinking fucking Bud Ice or some shit, and they come to Asheville. They have 5-6 IPAs. They don't know how to act.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, there was a funny scenario recently where I had this lady, trying to give her directions, and she was like, well, where's it at? And I'm like, well, it's down Cox Avenue. You just got to go past the bus station. It's down that way. She said, well, I can't walk past the bus station. I can't do that. And I'm like, why can't you walk past the bus station? She was like, she wouldn't answer me, you know what I'm saying? Because she saw that I was like questioning her on it. And then as I'm saying this, there's a group of like white frat bros walking by who are just unruly out of their minds. I'm like, you should be more worried about that than you should ever be worried about walking by the bus.
Yeah, those are the guys who those are the guys, I call them Chads.
Yep.
And
they'll beat the shit out of you and they'll get away with it.
Yeah, they'll beat you up.
They got lawyers, they got daddy money. They're good, you know? So to me, that's like the worst part of it. Because Asheville, and I can't speak for this on everyone, but at some point I feel like Asheville kind of existed for everybody. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's not really the case anymore.
No. It's definitely for them, but you can definitely make a living off of them.
True. You can. I mean, you can, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hard living. You know what I mean?
It's a hard living dealing with them. It's a hard living dealing with them. But a lot of times, man, if I take my personal opinions out of the situation and just go and do my job, then, you know, I can find it enjoyable. But if I'm sitting here like hating on this person, you know what I'm saying, while I'm trying to serve them, it's just not gonna work.
Now that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's it can be taxing mentally for sure. Yeah. If I'm not down, if not working, I'm not down there. I don't really go down there.
I'll go down there every now and then, like this time of the year. Yeah. To go out.
But even now, man, it's like.
But yeah, it's still
holiday weekend was crazy.
Oh yeah, it was nuts. It was definitely nuts.
And it's good. I mean, well, mostly it's good for the government because of the tax revenue that they're making off of it. You know what I'm saying? And you're watching a lot of places are already getting bought up by the banks. So it's like you're watching corporations open and stuff like that. They're shrouded in local, but they're corporations. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to. It's kind of hard to see that happen to a town that, you know, was, you know, downtown was nothing back in the mid 90s. They're all through the 80s. You know what I mean? It was like
it was the place that blacks hung out at. You didn't go downtown. The white folks didn't go downtown because it was the block, and that's where the blacks hung out. Lexington Avenue used to be the most dangerous street in Asheville. Boy, them rednecks down there would stab you up.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was pretty treacherous, man. We was down, you know, single mother of 5, so we were there. I was like gone, you know. But yeah, we had a lot of run-ins. We were just skateboarder punk kids, you know what I mean? So you had a bunch of Nazi skinheads crusty. Down there.
Sure,
it was pretty wild. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know.
It's a lot different now. You still got grimy parts in the city, but it's a lot more sanitized. Like, I've never seen so many unmolested white folks walking up and down Hayward Road in my life.
Yeah.
Like, Hayward Road used to be the track. If y'all know what that is, it was the place where the prostitutes used to walk. They chased them down. They chased them off from Lexington, and they came straight to Hayward Road. And Hayward Road was
What are you talking, like the 90s?
No, like 2002.
Yeah. Really? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. 05, it was still crazy. Like 05, it was still people doing U-turns on Hayward Road, flagging down crackheads. And
wow.
It was an open air drug market, you might as well say.
Sure.
The whole street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From up there at Mason's Muffler all the way to Patton Avenue. And all of the side streets, it was like cracked out.
Damn.
Yeah, now it's like what they call walkable West Asheville.
Walkable West Asheville.
Walkable West.
Yeah, just stay on Hayward Road. Don't go to the left or to the right at all. It can get real hairy real fast. Yeah. Couple blocks off Haywood, it's like it's late night, yeah. Yeah, you definitely can get it.
Yeah, for sure. So I think we have time to go into maybe one more topic, and then I would like for you guys to maybe share another tune if you're up for that. Something I've dealt with quite a bit in my own life, for pretty much all of it: depression, anxiety, things that have been going on my whole life, and I've been getting a lot of help for lately, and I think I'm doing a lot better. But I've realized there are some places in my life where you're not given the space to be able to be those things. If you're at work, you can't be depressed. You got a job to do. Come to work, do your job, save your depression for when you're home. And I wonder about the place in hip hop for things like depression and anxiety and feeling suicidal.
It's been them young boys been saying that for the past 4 or 5 years. They've been crying out about how sad they are. Men are sad in America because we can't tell nobody that we sad and get some sympathy and get some heart, especially black men. These boys is crying out from their souls That's why they had to go from rapping to singing, because they was in so much pain. They couldn't verbalize it with just bars. They had to sing it out. Mental health has been neglected for American men for probably the past, since it's been American men.
Yeah.
I did a lot of time in prison. 11 years all told, went 4 times. Not something that I'm proud of, but it's something that happened. And I did 3 years of therapy right at the end of all of that. And the therapeutic setting where you are able to work on and attack these little frozen emotions that you got underneath the surface of your psyche from shit that happened to you when you was a kid. You couldn't handle it, so your psyche protected you and froze it and stuffed it way down. But it's still reverberating and sending off like little shockwaves. You don't even know why the hell this shit is triggering you until you can get down into that. And that takes a lot of meditation and talking and writing things down and doing specific exercises to kind of uncover some of that frozen emotional state that's up under your psyche that's still causing you fucking problems to this day.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And you got to sit with somebody who's skilled and who can lead you into discovering it for yourself, man. I wrote notebooks trying to get out of this situation of being too fucking angry and having the wrong type of ideas about pride and respect. You know what I'm saying? Everything was out of whack, and it helped me a lot. But now the pressures of being at home, I've been home almost 8 years. Next month will be 8 years, and now I got to go back to therapy again because I can find myself right back in. I find myself right back into that toxic anger.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Even though it might be a righteous anger, it's still, you know, I haven't been able to. Let's put it like this. I haven't been able to. Sometimes you got to hit a fly swatter with a fly with a fly swatter. I haven't been doing that lately. I've been hitting flies with sledgehammers and shotguns.
It will still get them, but it might.
No, it's going to kill everybody else. It's going
to.
to, and I've been burning a lot of bridges because it's like I've been on my path, and if I see something about somebody that I don't like, I confront them in a very fiery. You know, it's all based on me being afraid of losing what I've been working for. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And I got to find a way to get back into not being afraid of losing what I'm working for because I'm solid in myself and my work has been solid. And even if it does fall down, that don't mean that everything else, you know, I've been putting too much into it and not putting it inside of here. You know, you got to really be conscious about building yourself up with things that can't be taken away.
That's right.
You know, it's not about things, putting out records and things. It's about
getting a new car.
That things. It's not really about that, or even the love from your girlfriend, which is a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We put so much into that we don't build up the stuff on the inside that makes us feel good. I feel good when I can stick to my integrity and do the things that I say I'm going to do. I feel good when I'm able to take care of myself, get up, make my bed up, pick my clothes up off the floor. When I can do that type of stuff, I feel good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just the simple things we all been taught since we was a little in kindergarten. That's one of my favorite books. All the things I needed to know, I learned in kindergarten. That should be the Bible. Because it's just all about respect and taking care of yourself. Because and something else that I've learned from my mental health is that I try to pour from an empty cup a lot.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of these, I'm a grind. And, you know, I'm one of these guys, hard work ethic.
Sure.
But it's not always conducive because you can work yourself into where you're not able to work and you damage all of the work that you've done.
That's right.
You know, so for me, it's like I have to have some time by myself. I have to meditate. I got to take care of things when they come up. I have to, you know, have my THC on the regular.
Yep.
You know, I'm trying to work towards where I don't need it, but living in this crazy world where you bombarded all the time, you got to have something to soften the blow.
Sure. Because
it's too many waves going into our brain, too much information. You know, we got to haze it out sometimes. And my way of doing that is by smoking a fat one.
Yep. Yeah. And I know that works for a lot of people. I just still can't believe it's not legal.
That's stupid.
And especially in North Carolina, it's going to take quite some time.
Yeah. We'll be like the holdout state. You know?
Well, that's because tobacco's mad. They're mad.
Oh, yeah. And
they'll not make a dollar here.
Right. Once they can profit, you know that they'll switch things up.
Oh, for sure. Well, yeah, you'll see those like
Marlboro Greens.
Yeah. You'll see all that stuff come into fruition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, something that's been really helpful for me, I've talked about it a little bit. Want to make sure to give a shout out today. I've been using CBD quite a bit. Stuff that is 100% isolate, so it doesn't have any of the THC component in it. It's all CBD. Riverbend CBD, they're our sponsor for this episode today. You can see their lovely banner right there behind Spaceman. And they're going to be our sponsor moving forward. Really excited about that. Awesome. Because it's a product that I use every day. I use their oils and I also smoke their flower as well. And this is a product that has helped a lot with my anxiety. It's helped a lot with my sleep. It's something that doesn't show up on a drug test because there's no THC in it. So it's great for people who have jobs where they get drug tested. And it's kind of been like weed light, diet weed. It's like I don't get high anymore. I get low. I said
that today to my mom.
I get low. Really?
Yeah.
It's like diet weed.
My mom loves it, and I smoke it too. I smoke the flowers for sure, and I like to mix it
sometimes. And I get mad, and I have to go
smoke the real stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally feel you.
But
it's not weed.
A lot of people around me, it helps a lot. My wife uses the oil regularly, and she loves it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. My girlfriend uses the oil pretty regularly. It helps her.
It's great for people, I think, especially who have chronic pain. Like, I think of my mom, she has rheumatoid arthritis and lupus, and she takes it and helps a lot with swelling and just different things that go on in the body. So,
well, if we look, outside of the recreational use of marijuana and hemp, you know what I mean? You look at like the medical side of it all is the most important side of it.
Sure. Absolutely.
What it can do for the human body.
Yeah. And there's a lot that has been more or less proven.
Oh yeah, well they've and a lot of that information gets suppressed, pharma, stuff like that.
One of the more interesting studies I've read recently is about CBD and its effects on the brain, specifically things like inflammation of the brain, and they think more and more that depression could be a consequence of inflammation of the brain. So there are some pretty promising studies there that CBD might be effective for managing depression, among other physical conditions. So definitely something that I use. It's still expensive. I'm surprised how expensive CBD still is, but over time I think that price will come down. But if you go to Riverbend's website, which is just www.riverbendcbd.com, or you could check them out on Instagram at riverbendcbd, you can get 15% off on your order, which is pretty awesome because, like I said, they have some pretty high quality products, and they definitely come with a price tag like any CBD product. But go check them out. They have oils. They have different concentrates, things you can dab. I mean, like all types of shit. So again, it's Riverbend CBD. Check them out. Big shout out to them, and also big shout out to AV Live for putting on the production today, and Asheville Play Studio for hosting us today, as always. So is there a tune that comes to mind that you guys want to share? Anything with kind of the thought of the last couple conversations in mind here, thinking about mental health, thinking about addiction, thinking about, I don't know, is there anything that comes to mind that you guys want to share?
We have a song called Money Phone that's about getting your worth, and I think that helps with mental health if you get paid what you're worth.
That sounds good.
I give it 2 thumbs up.
There you go, Spaceman Jones, 2 thumbs up.
If you hit my line, you better be on some money talk.
Some money talk.
If you hit my line, just know this my money phone.
Money phone, player.
If you hit my line, you better be on some money talk.
Some money talk,
if you hit my line, just know this my money phone.
New phone, who this, state your biz. Every second count when you get it how you live. Gotta feed kids, pay bills. Summertime running thin. Some folk can have you out here on the limb. They barking up the wrong tree. I'm rooted too deep. I ain't fucking with them. I leave them jokers in the streets. I put my card on the table. Bitch, read them and weep. I built other niggas' dreams while they rock me to sleep. New days, now I charge them to speak. My energy is precious. For my presence, I'ma need my feet. What you thought you get this art out my heart? Gratis, I'm trying to tell out tours, t-shirts and CDs. I put my life in it, so it's priceless to me. I capitalize, cause capital the only way to be free. Even God charging niggas ain't no charity beat. What you think is any different from me? Nah.
If you hit my line, you better be on some money talk.
Some money talk, player.
If you hit my line, just know this my money phone.
My money phone, pimpin'.
If you hit my line, you better be on some money talk.
Some money talk, player.
If you hit my line, just know this my money phone.
Asking for what's due, they say you're brand new. Lately I've been trying to eat the love from these fools, and it's cool, but I ain't even got food yet. You can't buy a cookout tray with the applause from a good set. And niggas say bet, but they don't show up. Especially when it come to coughing dough up. Niggas get flaky like a biscuit, boy, hold up. Yeah, chunk some meat off in my gravy. If you want some work, little homie, you gon' have to pay me. Cause free is a 4-letter word. Don't offend with that language, you will be left on the curb. Hey, word to the herb that I paid for. My word righteous every time they want an encore. Catch a wave with us, you will understand more. This is top shelf excellence, of course it will demand more. Oh, I get it, you accustomed to the corner store.
If you hit my line, you better be on some money talk.
Some money talk, player.
If you hit my line, just know this my money phone.
My money phone, pimpin'.
If you hit my line, you better be on some money talk.
Some money talk, player.
If you hit my line, just know this my money phone.
Now this my money phone. Now this my money phone. Now this my money phone. My motherfucking money phone.
Now this my money phone. Now this my money phone. Now this my money phone. My motherfucking money phone.
Now this my money phone. Now this my money phone. Now this my money phone. My motherfucking money phone.
Now this my money phone. Now this my money phone. Now this my money phone. My motherfucking money phone.
Spaceman and the Motherships.
Spaceman Jones and the Motherships, Money Phone. Thanks for sharing, guys. Check them out on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook,
everywhere.
Spotify, iTunes, Spaceman Jones and the Motherships. Also, be sure to check out Robots Win. That's RBTS Win. Check out Motherhood, which is Cliff's solo project. Really good stuff. Your EP is up on Bandcamp, is that right?
It's actually on all the platforms now.
It's on all the platforms.
Yeah, it's called In My Feelings.
In My Feelings. It's good stuff.
If you just search Motherhood In My Feelings, it'll pull it right up for you.
Cool.
Yeah,
man. Then you can get all of the everything on Spaceman Jones at Instagram, Spaceman_Jones. I also put out a solo record earlier this year called Southern Exposure. I produced all the beats on there except for 2 that Cliff produced.
Cool.
We also got Urban Combat Wrestling, man, coming to the Mothlight March 7th.
Check it out.
For Rapping Wrestling 3. Y'all don't want to miss this event, man. The people be spilling. They be having to tell the people, man, you can't come in yet. You got to wait till somebody leave. It be that packed.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's like a real wrestling show.
Yeah, it's like a real.
The crowd becomes part of it all, man. It's dope.
Yeah, man. We have a great time. March 7th.
February 13th at the Mothlight.
Yeah.
We got some little.
February 13th.
Yeah, 13th. Yeah, February 13th at the Mothlight. We got a little, pre-Valentine's Day.
That's right.
Valentine's Day jam with Spaceman.
For the lovers.
I'm going to be doing a Motherhood set. Boy in Sleep from Robots Win. Musashi Zero.
Way cool.
Mad Mike from Natural Born Leaders.
Yeah.
It's going to be a nice one. Yeah.
SK going to be in the house?
I don't think so.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, he's living in Raleigh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to be getting him on here soon, and Musashi's going to be on here, so we're going to be doing a little bit of a hip-hop series here coming up. So appreciate you guys coming on again today. I'll see you guys on the 13th. Oh, yeah. I will see you at your wrestling event at the Mothlight.
March 7th.
March 7th, February 13th. Check out Spaceman Jones and the Motherships. Until next time, don't forget to breathe. I'm your host, Rob Lavati. That was good. We didn't even time that. That was really nice.
Breathing room.
Breathing room, baby.